called freeze dance. Freeze dance is a movement activity that encourages improvisation and interpretation through the art form of dance, and it's a great way to go over vocabulary with your students. Now today I'm going to be talking about how you can use freeze dance to teach a math lesson about symmetry and asymmetry. Now freeze dance works like this. It's a real simple game. All you do is you teach your two things that you're going to talk about, or it can be up to 4, 5, 6, depending on the age limit of your students. You teach your vocabulary, you teach your concepts. Then you have the students stand up, push under their chairs, and then you're going to play some music. I like to use an upbeat song like this. It'll turn on in just a minute. And you have the students sort of bebop around their desks or in their general area, and the space you set up for this really depends on the classroom that you're in and the situation that you're in. Now when the music stops, the students freeze. You call out the vocabulary word, in this instance, symmetrical, and then the students become symmetrical. Then you push play again, and the students bebop around and dance around their tables or whatever, and then when you hit pause, students freeze, and then you call out another vocabulary word. In this instance, maybe asymmetrical. Maybe you throw in radially symmetrical. Now the benefits of this is that you're introducing movement. So what happens is you're increasing your students' activity in their cerebrum, and you're also encouraging their episodic memory, which is their memory of place and circumstance. You're also incorporating visual learners because they can see one another, and if everybody is like this in the class, and they're like this, then they realize, oh, symmetrical is this. And this becomes ingrained in their memory and also in maybe their muscle memory too. This is a really great strategy to use as a rehearsal for your students, and rehearsal, remember, is getting students to actually use information so it can move from their short-term memory to their long-term memory. So here's how freeze dance would work. You teach about symmetrical versus asymmetrical. Then you have your students stand up, push under their chairs. The music starts, your students dance, and they really have a good time with this. Music stops, they freeze. You call out a vocabulary word, symmetrical. You check for understanding. This is a great formative assessment. Hit play and they're off again. Hit pause, asymmetrical. Check for understanding. The students are also checking to make sure they're right. And then you hit play again. This is a wonderful activity you can use. It incorporates movement, it incorporates vision, it influences the art form of dance, so it helps students to learn about improvisation and also making shapes with their bodies. You can use it in any curriculum. You just have to kind of maybe give students suggestions about how they might act out something. If you're a foreign language teacher and you're teaching emotions, say you're teaching Spanish and you're teaching sad, triste, you can have the students act out crying, or you can have the students act out smiling. This is a really wonderful strategy to use across the curriculum. I use it in my classroom for a few different things, mostly with balanced, symmetrical, and asymmetrical. So that's freeze dance. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you find it useful in your classroom. Now it should be noted that when you play this game, there are a few additional rules. And my students who are used to using movement in their everyday classroom experience know these rules, but I still restate them anytime we introduce movement. The first thing is safety first, so we make sure all the chairs are pushed under, that there's no books on the floor, that there's nothing around for your students to get hurt on. The second thing you want to do is establish where the students can dance. So I don't allow my students to dance by our pottery wheels or where there are projects or any place where they could get hurt or where something might get destroyed. The other rules I state are that all dancing must be safe, all dancing must be appropriate for school, and this would include hand gestures because you know how students can get creative with those kinds of things. All dancing must be individual, that means you cannot touch another person or another student in our classroom. And finally, all dancing must be standing up on your 2 feet, and your hands may not touch the ground. This is so students' fingers don't get stepped on. You just want to monitor your students, make sure they're being safe, and make sure they feel comfortable and safe. Now, students who are maybe a little bit reluctant to get up out of their seats, or students who might not physically be able to get up out of their seats, I encourage some chair dancing. So it's okay to stay in your chair, it's okay to sit, and then maybe your students kind of warm up to it as they see other students dancing, or students who are not physically able to get up and move feel incorporated because they're still moving to the best of their ability. And when you allow everybody to kind of choose their willingness to do this, then it incorporates everybody into the classroom.